feel them pulling away, avoid this mistake, girlfriend. In this video, you will discover what not to do, what's actually doing the exact opposite when a man pulls away in an effort for him to for him to really respond back to you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want desires and most importantly, pursues you forever. Now, like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way that help you to break through your blind spots in love and attract the right man for you. And I highly recommend listen till the very end for a juicy, surprising bonus that you may not expect. Let's go ahead and dive right into the 5 things what not to do when he stops communication, when he pulls back, followed by what you should do instead to make sure that he continues to respond to you. Number 5 is don't apologize. Look, we have a woman in the program right now, and that's what she's actually experiencing, right? She apologized for her behavior. She doesn't even know what behavior she did, right? So what happens is we're trying to fill in the blanks. We're like, I know I wasn't like the best communicator. And, I know I shouldn't have said this and that and the other to you. And I know you love your dad so much and and all the things, right? So we're literally making up stories in our head why this guy could be pulling back. And of course, the natural assumption is he's mad at us. You don't know that. This is an assumption. You have no idea, right? And what's really important is like when you apologize, you're collapsing. What really happens is you're actually encountering shame. When we encounter shame, we have 3 ways to go. Brody Brown talks about that called shame shields. One is collapse, right? Collapse really meaning, oh my God, you're so right. You should have left me. I said the wrong thing. I shouldn't have insulted you. Again, you're just filling in the blanks. You have no idea if that's true. You don't know if he's met someone else. You don't know if he's just busy. You don't know if he wants space. You don't know, right? You don't know. So that's, I would be like really mindful of. And again, remember, I tell you later on in the video what to do instead. Number 4 is don't beg. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I can actually tell you a personal experience. When I was dating this guy quite a while ago, and I was so attracted to him, and when he was pulling back, I must have called him, I don't even know, like every 30 minutes, every 1 hour, texted him, and like, please don't leave me. And really, that's just sort of like this puppy, right? That's like begging him, giving all my power away, right? Like telling him, you are the be all and all. You have control over my life. You have complete power, right? Like you are on a pedestal. You can't do any wrong. And then, of course, what that does is when you beg, it puts you into an inferior position. So it gives him even less of a reason to come back to you, because he would come back to you if he would think that you are a prize, right? Like that you are the queen. A queen doesn't beg, right? A queen says his loss, but she says it from an authentic place. Again, more about that later on in the video. Number 3, and I think this is like a really huge one, and I've seen that a lot with my clients, is don't send inauthentic text messages. I'll give you a couple examples. So don't send, I was just thinking about, the moments that we had and all the things. Like one thing that I always tell my women is if you are sending a text message with the goal that he responds, right? Like meaning like if he wasn't responding, you would feel uncomfortable. Don't send the text message. Why? Because it's inauthentic. It's not coming from a released place. It's not coming from a generous place. It's not coming from a connected place, but it's coming from an attached place. The truth is you can do the wrong thing with the right energy and you get the right outcome. However, you can do the right thing with the wrong energy, meaning the attachment, and you can get the wrong outcome. And you may even wonder, I did what I was told in this YouTube video, and it didn't work. It didn't work because it was inauthentic. It was out of alignment. Another thing I also don't want you to do is to say, oh, hey, I was just in your area. Hey, I just took the wrong exit. Just one of my clients said that. I just took the wrong exit. Oh, I ended up in your neighborhood. I'm around right now. What a coincidence. Like, are you around? And so you're looking for reasons. You're making up excuses to see him without giving your power away. But it's really awkward because it's kind of obvious that you are giving your power away, and nobody really believes you that you happen to be in a neighborhood after 3 days of him not contacting you. And you also lose kind of self-respect, right? Because you kind of know, you're like, it's like not the best move I've ever done in my entire life. And again, he loses respect for you and will most likely not respond in a way that you desire. Also, girlfriend, please don't stalk him on social media. Don't helicopter, like his posts, right? Or like his images, or like do little emoji or all those things, right? Or like see what he's actually doing, because that gets you even more attached. You see, social media gives you sort of this illusion that you're closer to someone that you actually are. And it gives you the illusion that you're actually part of their life, but you're really not. And you may actually get more anxious, you get more scared, you get more terrified, develop more panic of missing out when you see him maybe with another woman, and you don't even know who that is, if it's like this buddy's girlfriend or whatever the case may be, right? So you start to create more stories, and the more stories we create, the more attachment anchors in the unconscious, right? Stories are actually very, very powerful because they're hypnotic. And hypnotic is really highly manipulative for the unconscious. It really truly anchors. So be mindful of that. And also, again, he kind of like is aware that you're stalking him. He usually can see on social media when somebody watched your story, but he sees that and he's like, why is she doing that? Because remember, if he's pulling back for a reason, girlfriend. He's not pulling back. And then you remind him that you still exist. And he's like, hallelujah, I'm so glad you reminded me that you still exist. No, there's usually a reason for that. A man doesn't just forget about you and is grateful that you remind him that you exist. Number one, don't obsess. Now, this is like an internal game, right? So what tends to happen, and again, I don't know if you watched, he's just not that into you. The main character, Gigi, and I know I love to bring that example so much because she's obsessing, right? She's like checking if the phone is actually plugged in, right? Like, is the phone working? She doesn't even talk to anyone else anymore. She doesn't make herself available. She's not focusing on her yoga class, right? She's just checking her phone 24/7, right? And what that does is it depletes you. Why? Because you're focusing on the other person. Every time when you focus on the other person, you abandon yourself. And one thing I always say is the quality of men you attract into your life is directly proportional to the relationship you have with yourself. So if you give all your power away and your relationship to yourself is abandon me, yes, leave me because that's what I do. Compromise, right? Like, don't give me all the things that I want. Don't value me. Don't make me a priority because I don't make myself a priority. I give everything to you, right? I also don't hold my own in the relationship. I don't have any boundaries. So please walk all over me, disrespect me, right? That's what you're going to attract. So before we go into the bonus section and then we go into what to do instead, I have a question for you. What do you do when a man pulls back? Let me know in the comment section. And has that worked for you? Let us know. I may have forgotten something. So for those of you who stayed until now, the bonus is don't visualize the worst. So especially if you're an anxious attachment style, what starts to happen is you start to look at the worst case scenario, right? And that could really look like, he probably met another woman, right? He's probably making fun of me. He's laughing at me right now, right? Like, he's probably thinking I'm ridiculous. He's probably thinking, he's probably super annoyed by me, right? Like, he was never interested in me in the first place. Don't visualize the worst because it's going to trigger more shame, which then in that turn, right, causes more shame shields, right? So like I told you, here are a couple of things that I recommend you should do when he pulls back. Number one is actually focus on yourself, right? So what happens is when he pulls back, he's really saying, you taught me to reject you. You taught me to abandon you. So come back to yourself. See when you left yourself, right? Was there something that you let go of in order to have the phone conversation with him? I remember when I met this guy, and I actually ended my workshop early, right? Or I left early so I could get on a phone call with him because he was in a different time zone and all the things. So are you doing something like that, right? Are you compromising on things that are actually important to you, right? Are you abandoning your girlfriends in order to have those conversations, in order to have this date with him? So come on back to yourself. Another piece also is ask yourself unconsciously, where do I desire to have space? Now, one thing that I truly believe also is the quality of men that we attract into our life is actually direct mirror to the relationship we have to ourselves. So when a man wants space, where do you want space inside of yourself, right? We attract who we're being, our own being. And it may be unconscious, right? Maybe we have different archetypes inside of ourselves. Maybe you have really neglected what I call the priestess archetype. That part of you that connects with God, that prays, that works on insights for yourself, right? What are your unique spiritual gifts that God has given you, right? When have you meditated the last time, right? When have you listened to something that's actually not necessarily logical, but you actually let go and learn to trust more, right? And that's the last piece, is trust. When you feel him pulling back, there's also a lack of trust, right? There's something there about like an attachment, a fear, something repelling. And what you want to introduce instead is I trust. So when I had this experience in 2009, where this guy was totally pulling back, I actually took out a piece of paper and I wrote 142 times, I trust. And then I wrote it another 10 or 20 times on pieces of paper and put it on my wall all over my room. Because that really helped me to come back to myself and to let go of obsessing over him. So I hope this was really helpful for you. And if you like to discover how we became multiple six-figure love coaches and how you can as well, click on the link in the description, comment below, or go to icoachlove.com. Lots of love to you, ladies. And if you have watched so already, watch next. When a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Lots of love. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.